Hi, I'm Preeti,
And I'm Brian.
and welcome to our podcast, The Ghibli Neighbors.
Here we talk about all the Ghibli movies
Why they are the best.
and how it changed our lives.
So
Let's get started. So, hi guys, and welcome to our first episode of Ghibli Neighbors. So, we split this entire podcast into 4 parts: the fun and adventure part, the sad part, and what's the third part?
Thought provoking?
Thought provoking is the third part, and another part, the final part, is
Coming of age.
coming of age. Yeah. So this was not told in order. We will rearrange it. And this is the first part of the podcast, which is fun and adventure. So Premi, what is the first movie on our list?
The first movie, and for me personally, the #1 movie is Castle in the Sky.
So you're saying this is your number one movie among all Ghibli movies?
Okay, there are a lot of movies that are competing for #1, but for adventure, I think definitely this is #1.
Okay, first let's go through the plot of this movie. Pirates and the government try to kidnap a mysterious girl and her pendant in order to find a lost kingdom in the sky. Does it sum up the entire story? Like a gist of the entire story?
Yeah, I guess so.
Pretty much. Okay, so this movie has this very steampunk realism kind of vibe to it. We see the future of the world, but with older technology. Am I right or am I wrong?
The way I thought about it was the humans have become an intelligent civilization where they've outgrown their capabilities, and they've built a utopian world per se, but which has transitioned to a dystopian world. And as we say that nature or the world has its way to reset itself, so we see a setting where the world has reset itself to the world that we see in that movie, like by default. So we see that in the intro scene, if you remember, we see these huge aircrafts, flying in the sky, and we see one of them crashing. So I guess there's a lot of background to what might have gone through for that to happen, and the setup itself looks like the remnant people who survived those type of dystopian conditions are living in this valley of sorts where it's so crammed up with houses with exhaust. It's very industrial looking, like it's almost like a comment on industrial revolution and the obsession with technology and industrialization per se, I guess. Okay, what do you think about that?
Yes, as you said, I think it has more themes which support industrial revolution in a sort of way. So, talking about the theme itself, I think this entire setting of the movie is just 3 places. We either see a castle in the middle of the sea, a prison of sorts, a castle in the sky, literally, and we see these mines. So, the entire thing is like a lost world where you're basically trying to survive, and probably like you said, this might be a result of advancement in technology and all sorts of other things. So talking about the theme, you can call this movie an anti-war movie, a movie which has anti-war sentiments. What do you think?
Definitely yes. I think, see, when you look at it immediately, I don't think it's very obvious that it's an anti-war pacifist sentiment. But I guess you cannot dismiss the fact that there's something to do with it, mainly because there's so much obsession with flights there. You see so many flights that you can't really, dismiss the fact that it has something to do with, war and everything. And also, if, spoiler alert, later part of the movie, the robots being dropped from the castle, it looks almost like a bomb being dropped. So it definitely, you can't really, dismiss the fact that it has anti-war references to it. Also, one of the perspectives that I'd like to think about, it wouldn't make sense in the whole picture, but one of the things that kind of made sense in few places for me is that if you look at what's the stone's name? Volucite.
Yeah, Volucite.
Yeah, Volucite stone, right? If you think of that Volucite stone as a nuclear material, then it makes a lot of, you know,
Oh yeah, I get it.
sense, because given the history of Japan, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
everybody, you know, trying to find it, you know, and it being so massively powerful. And one of the key important things about it, it is man-made. Especially Uncle Pom tells the guy that that stone is work of man. It's not a
Natural.
natural occurrence. So the power of Laputa, as you see, is man-made. He says a dialogue: a stone so powerful brings joy, but it also brings misery. That stone is work of man. So
Oh, nice.
that is an, you know, like an important part where I thought it could be something to do with, you know, nuclear plants.
Actually, what surprised me in what you said right now is the nuclear bomb part. Actually, I didn't realize that anyone would compare the pendant to nuclear energy, but it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense that you can call it a nuclear bomb, or it can be a reference to a nuclear bomb. Even the last part where the robots are falling from the castle, which resembles a bomb, and there are actually footages of bombs being dropped, and the camera angle supported what you just said right now.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, it looked like a set of bombs falling from the castle or some plane or something.
Exactly.
That's a very nice description about the theme and the nature of the movie. So let's talk about another interesting part of the movie, the protagonist or the main character. So we have Sheeta here. I mean, not in the podcast, in the movie. So Sheeta is the main character. So what do you think about her?
Okay, Sheeta as a girl looks like a very simple girl, but as the narration goes, which is brilliant because the way they uncover the details about her and her family is just too interesting, gripping. You know, it keeps us waiting to know what's next, because most of the details that come from her are things that you'll never expect that she would say. So, Sheeta is a girl who is actually with so much power, or with so much grace, as you call it, from a, what do you call that? From a palace, or from the kingdom, kind of.
She's a princess.
Yeah, a princess. Basically, she has all the nuances of a princess, but she carries herself so gracefully as a town girl, like a countryside girl. That's Sheeta for me.
Yeah. So according to me, Sheeta is a very shy, very timid, very kind person. And I was thinking, like, how could this person be the main character? Like, she's the opposite of what a main character could be, actually. But like you said, as the movie progresses, when we reach the end, we see her transition into a brave person who's ready to do an unimaginable thing, destroy her own history, basically, for the sake of humanity. And that's like truly a princess kind of thing, like to be brave,
Exactly.
to do something no one will expect you to do, because you're timid, you're shy, kind and nice person. And that's like a nice transition for a main character. Like, it's good to show your main character like a weak person or a very timid person, and slowly show the same character attaining growth and development through the movie, and in the end the character has a different perspective on the entire thing.
Yeah.
That's a very nice thing to do. Hats off to the director. He's done a really great job in showing this character at her best.
Correct.
So yeah.
What I feel is, while though Sheeta by herself is potential enough to do these things on her own, definitely the influence of Pooja and
It's Pazu.
It's Pazu?
Yeah, it's Pazu.
okay, sorry, it's Pazu.
The side character.
Yeah,
The supporting character.
Supporting character, Pazu, and Tola and her sons. Influence on her is very crucial, because the character arc of Pazu itself is one that has to be, you know, like addressed, where you see Pazu as a guy who is seemingly just like a hardworking boy. He's just a regular boy. He's just working hard. That's all. Nothing specific to his character before he meets Sheeta. But as soon as he meets Sheeta, he just wants to kind of save her and be friends here, while he tries to bring his boss's attention that a girl just floated down in the sky. But his boss surprisingly doesn't give a damn about somebody just falling from the sky. Okay, he's unbothered, like surprisingly unbothered by something happening to somebody. He's only concerned about the engines that he's working with, which really like brings to notice how much the people in that society care for each other. Like it's very little basically. It just gives an insight of the relationship between the human beings also. So yeah, Pazu, who starts as a hardworking boy, transitions to become a very, the person who takes power and authority and action and a savior kind of a person, which I wondered it had a lot to do with so much of Dola saying, oh, be a man. And then like different people saying, oh, be a man. And I think that phrase had repeated itself quite a number of times, which is a little hard to ignore. So I think, even if Pazu is a young guy, he somehow is also, subjected to the gender role of being a man. Yeah. And he does well, but it's kind of hot. Anyway, one of the details that I noticed to enforce that it's a dystopian setup, right? In Pazu's house, tower that he's built up, every morning he goes there, he releases the dove and it flies back to him. Like it goes through the city and it flies right back into him. Which I thought is like, if you could equate it to how Noah was releasing doves.
Oh, nice.
In order to see if it returns. And if the land was not barren, it will not return. So these doves flew away and it came right back to him, which meant that doves did not really have a space to settle.
Oh, that's a nice thing to say actually.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. Like, you're telling like Pazu was kind of like a Noah of sorts in his place, and his environment, his house was more fertile and more warm and welcoming, so that the birds actually came back even though they went out every day. That's a nice thing, actually. That's a nice thing.
Yeah.
So talking about Pazu, I think you've covered everything. He has that main character energy, but he never tries to be the hero of the day. I think he drives adventure into the movie. Like from the moment the girl meets Pazu, Sheeta meets Pazu, we just go on this crazy adventure. Like we try to escape from the pirates, we try to escape from the government, we go underground, we meet this strange underground dude who talks about stones. and then we try to go to another place, the government catches you, we escape the government again, we help the pirates. Again, it's like wherever this guy is, you can expect a crazy adventure.
Exactly.
So that guy drives adventure to this movie, I guess. But he never is the main character. And I should also say about Pazu, whenever that guy comes in, I'm thinking like, is he going to fall down somewhere, or is he going to like break his head or something?
No, it's so gripping, right? Especially the last part of the movie. The climax is just so thrilling, and the bullet just goes right through his
grazes his face.
Yeah. It's very, very gripping.
That particular scene where the guy, I think an assassin shoots at him and somehow he misses it. It hits his face, but it just grazes his skin. That guy actually triggered my fear of heights.
Yeah.
Every single time he's always on the edge. Which is literally keeping me on the edge.
I know. There's so many places
that
keeps us on the edge.
Seriously, whenever he climbs an ash ship or he tries to jump or do something, and I'm like, dude, you're gonna fall down. Like, chill.
Yeah, it's just like grabbing a root for life, like root. Yeah.
So that guy needs to know his balance, or I should know my balance. I don't know. Yeah. And actually, we need not talk about the antagonist of the movie, but it's a Ghibli movie, so it is very important that we should talk about the antagonist.
Yeah.
So we have two types of antagonists in the movie. Can I go first?
Yes.
Yeah. So the first antagonist is a man so filled with greed, the greed for wealth, that he'll do anything for it. All he cares about is airships and gold and wealth. So for them, finding Laputa is not about adventure or discovery. It's the treasure. That's the only thing that motivates him. And again, we have the other antagonist, Muska. So, spoiler alert, he's also a relative of the main character, Sheeta, who's the princess of the castle in the sky. It shows how human greed is impacting everything. Like, this guy is the embodiment of greed itself.
Yes.
Like, for him, everything is power. For him, everything is control, authority. He doesn't care about wealth. He wants to control the world. He wants to be the ruler of the world. Like how human necessity for power and authority can spoil human minds and drive them crazy.
Correct.
So I think in Ghibli movies, we don't find antagonists that often. But when we do have an antagonist, it's not talking about the person, but it's talking about humankind itself. That's what I feel about these two characters in the movie. So what do you think?
Yeah, even I have, noticed that there are I would say there are three different types of antagonists. One is obviously the general, the Muskan, and the third one is Dola and her sons, because they are also after the stone. Like from the whole first half is you just see these people just chasing Sheeta and Pazu for the stone, right? So you cannot dismiss the fact that they are also, sort of antagonists in the movie. But the interesting fact in this part is that the director and the setting of the movie is forgiving towards Dola because she's not after power.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though she's after, wealth, which is materialistic wealth, they are not after power, or, they're not greedy enough to take control of nature of the world or of the other people or stuff like that. They just after wealth, and for some reason the director is forgiving of that. So they survive with wealth. They get their loot at the end. So yeah, even if they had to go through a lot of action to get a little bit of the loot, they still end up having some loot worthy of a lot of money, and they're not dead. Spoiler alert, the other two are dead. I think that's something to be, noted.
Yeah.
Somehow the director forgives these people.
I must be wrong, but I feel the reason for that might be somewhere there was character development on part of the pirates too. I mean, like, the pirates were kind of forgiving. As Pazu says to Sheeta at one point in the movie, even though Dola and the pirates are bad people, internally, on the inside, they're actually nice and kind.
Correct.
We don't see that nice, kind part of the pirates actually.
Yeah.
But this small kid believes in that. I don't know if that kid saw the kind side or nice side of the pirates. He just says that. And actually, when Dola overhears this conversation, she actually changes. Internally, she's like, okay, I am a nice person. Like this guy says, I am a nice person. So, or at least I'll try to be nice with this guy. That's the idea behind this particular character, or a set of characters actually. That's why I think the director was like, let me give them a chance. So let me talk about one of my favorite parts of the movie, the music. Oh, the music is really nice actually. So my favorite track has to be The Girl Who Fell from the Sky.
Yeah.
When we say Ghibli music, that soundtrack is one among the iconic soundtracks.
Absolutely.
In the list of Ghibli movies, or Ghibli movies as you call it. I mean, like, that soundtrack, after I saw the movie the first time, I was listening to the same soundtrack for hours and throughout a week, I guess. Like, it was on loop again and again and again.
Wow.
And I guess movie was the main reason actually, because it created this sense of nostalgia and adventure for me, and you tend to start thinking about your childhood or any event relating to your childhood, and it's like the soundtrack just elevates the energy. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I guess you're speaking specifically of The Girl from the Sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with you on that part. But what really stuck to me about music is the one that goes behind for the intro and the outro, and most of the part when we see nature's dominance in the scenes. You hear this type of, hopeful music, melodramatic in its own way. It's very complex as a composition. Like you can't really put it saying that it's a happy music or it's a sad music. That's the music that really stuck to me.
So we are almost at the end of this particular episode. So let's talk about the most important aspect of the movie. We all know, or if you don't know, this movie was directed by Hayao Miyazaki. Forgive me if my pronunciation is wrong. Ghibli's strongest pillar is Hayao Miyazaki, or one among the strongest pillars is Hayao Miyazaki. So he has a set of themes when he makes movies. So in this movie, I found two most prominent themes actually. It's important for him to have a main character who's a girl. It was in 1986. To have a female character in a movie such as this, it's like a huge thing. It's a great thing actually. And Hayao Miyazaki has done a great job actually. And another important style that we see in this movie is the anti-war sentiments. As I told in the beginning of this episode, I see it's very prevalent with Hayao Miyazaki. He's a pacifist, and that's what he tries to send as a message to all the people who are watching the movie. So what do you think about this sentiments and Hayao Miyazaki's style?
I agree with that. Like with art in particular, I noticed that there were a lot of browns and grays at the times of showing the industrial part of the story, and which also equated to despair and tragedy. Also, when we're trying to talk about hope and with certain type of utopia, there's a lot of green and blue and a lot of close-up shots with just Pazu and Cheetah together. In moments of happiness, it's just them. It's not even like the background has any scenery or anything of sorts. It's just the sky and them in close-up. So that's something to be noted, I thought. And one of the things that I want to ask you this question personally, I don't know how you missed this, first of all, because knowing that you would be really interested to discuss that. There's a scene where Pazu and Cheetah enter into the Laputa, the whole thing, and they go into the clouds, and they're stuck in a thundercloud kind of area, and something happens. Why don't you tell me about it?
I was finding it hard to decipher what exactly that was.
Yeah.
When the kid was going through the cloud, I felt like the kid was going through some sort of fear and emotion, and that particular memory got triggered because it reminded him of his father going inside the clouds.
Okay. But weren't you the one who taught me about phasing?
Phasing.
Yeah.
You're saying it's sort of time traveling.
Yeah. I don't know. I felt like it was.
As in the timelines intersected.
Because they disappear into a flash of lightning, if you remember.
Yeah.
The two of them.
Yeah.
So if they disappear into a flash of lightning, it means that they are traveling in speed of light, right?
Makes sense.
Yeah, that they're spinning in the speed of light.
Yeah.
One more thing is, what do you think about, message of the movie?
We see the movie as like an escapism into adventure, but as the movie progresses, it gives a different message. It feels like, see, war is bad, killing is bad. No human should be drunk on power or authority or wealth or greed. It only destroys you in the end and you get lost. Apart from this, when we reach the castle itself, the castle in the sky, there's an entire different message out there. It's like human advancement can be a bane. It can't be a boon all the time. It can be a curse which leads to destruction of a particular civilization or their own civilization.
So I have a comment on that. I might even argue with what you're saying. I wouldn't blame the technology, because in this movie, the director is very clear that technology is not the problem, because the robots, when they land on Laputa, the robot comes up, it tries to, it looks like it's coming to greet Sheeta, but it was just trying to save the eggs from the nest. So it's adapted itself to take care of the nature which is around. So what the director is saying is technology can help, but the human in power is the problem here. Like the people who have created it is a problem. But eventually the robot itself is, becoming a thing which adapts to nature and lives for nature. But human being, are still ignorant of the fact that we need earth, which is important, which is also enforced by what Sheeta says. She says, put down your roots in the soil, live together with the wind, pass the winter with seeds, sing in the spring with the bird. So she says that the people say this about the world. So she's saying that without world, humans can't exist. So she realizes the power of having world as is. She realizes the amount of, mishaps that we could cause by being greedy. One of the other things that I noticed was, it's just details to whatever we've been discussing. Like, if you look at the core of Laputa, it looks something like a base for code in the code library. As you go inside, it's fully taken over by this massive tree, right? It's fully covered with roots and everything. And the whole core of Laputa, that is a wallisite stone itself, is held by a root. And there is a dialogue which they say the roots protected us. So as I see it, nature is so much more powerful than anything we'll ever create, let alone what the human is capable of. What he's trying to say is, it's ever powerful. Like, no matter what or how powerful of a thing that we'll create, it's going to still prevail us. And the sooner we realize that and live in harmony with nature, it's better. The last scene where Laputa floats up and almost looks down at the earth just gives me a feeling of God's consciousness, because I want to see it as, let's say, if we place Wallisite as consciousness itself, and we place nature as a tree, and we place a part of Wallisite as like a man-made kind of like an aspect, then should we see it as half man and half spiritual, kind of divine and the practical part of the world looking down at the earth? I don't know, it was just an interesting perspective that I had.
That's a nice thing, actually. It sends a nice message. And that's the end of the episode. Thank you guys for listening, and stay tuned for more cool episodes like this one.
Bye bye.